Hey YouTubers, Steven here. Okay, today Project Green Marine, we're still working on the mechanical. The next step that I'm on right now is putting in the right angle gearing, and this is probably the hardest part of doing the mechanical because I have to line up the chains with the back sprockets and I have to line up the chains with the front sprockets. So I've got to make sure that it's positioned just right. You know, perfectly straight to the front of the boat and perfectly right in the back. So let me show you a few things. So I have the front chains all in and the gears, okay, mounted over here to the shifters, all right, and they work. It's a bit noisy, but you know, that's cool. Then let me show you down here. Alright, we've got the propellers and the chains mounted on the bottom brackets, and the chains are good and tight. There's Zoe. Hi Zoe. Hi Zoe. And one of our other dogs, Keiko, who seems to be a little camera shy, aren't you, Keiko? Keiko. Keiko. Come see Gampy. That a boy. That a boy. What a good boy. And good girl, Zoe. Alright, so that's our dogs. Two of them anyways. So, here we are. Okay, you can see I've got the chains geared up, going down through the floor, in my right angle gearing. So I have it pretty much exactly where I want it to be as far as towards the back. Okay, and if we look down the chain line here, that is straight. Zoom in a little bit, you can't see the chain on the other sprocket. Alright, everything is straight looking out, and I'll bring the camera over this way. And if I can get this, because this is a little awkward to use this camera, because the lens isn't straight, but you'll see here, if I can get it just in the right position, you can see this chain is straight, right straight down into there. So what I've done is I made a bit of a jig, okay, and the idea is, now that I'm happy with the position going back, I'm going to put this board here. That'll prevent the right angle gearing from moving forward and hopefully twisting. And then all I have to do is figure out which way my right angle gearing has to go, this way or that way, to line up with the chain in the front. So you can see the sprocket and the other sprocket up front. There it is up there. So if we come back, and honestly it almost looks like it's dead on where it needs to line up anyways. So I'm going to screw this jig in, and then we'll see how far off I am by lining up all the chains and put all the chains together, and hopefully I won't have to do too much tweaking. And let's see if we get all the mechanical done. So stay tuned, and hopefully, as you can see, the clouds all behind me, they're calm for rain and thunder showers later. Wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour or 30 miles an hour for my American friends, so it could be an interesting day, but I'm confident I'll get all the mechanical done, and we'll be back. We're back. I finished up mocking up the mechanical today. Mother Nature held off with the rain for a few hours yesterday, which was good. I got a lot done, and I got it finished today. There's still some minor tweaking that I have to do, but I'll point that out when I show you everything. So let's turn the camera around and let me show you the boat. Okay, so here we go. Here's the pedals. Front derailleur works. The rear derailleur works. The only problem with the rear derailleur is where I have the chain here. I can only come up a couple of gears, but I mean, that's fine. At least I have the 3 gears up here, so I can go easy, hard, and harder. This is the problem sprocket. Where I took all the spokes and everything off of it, it's not spinning true. so it's got a bit of a wobble and a warp to it. I'm actually going to bite the bullet and take this into a bike shop. I tried a couple of times getting the bearings just right in this, but where it's got a bit of a wobble like this, the chain keeps derailing up here. This chain here is fine. It's riding okay because it's got a fair amount of slack in it, and it looks like it should come off, but it doesn't, so I'm going to leave it. So as we're looking, you can see the chain goes under my seat and all the way to the back. Okay, and on this side, I've got a little tensioner wheel. Some people may recognize that. It's actually a sprocket out of a rear derailleur. So we'll look at that. And I'll try not to move too fast, but it's the same sprocket that's in there. So we'll come back, and coming down the chain, I've got another tension wheel there. Again, it's another sprocket, which comes over to my right angle gearing, which comes over to this sprocket, and then runs all the way up to this sprocket, which goes over to this sprocket, which comes back down. I have another tension wheel here. Alright, I don't want the chains too tight because then it just makes it too hard. And then you can see my chains here get down into the floor to my propellers. So bear with me a second here while I take my hand strap off. And if we look down the hole, you can see everything is turning. And if I take the camera, put it underneath the boat, I'm going to turn everything. You can see my propellers are moving. Get both of them in here. And that's just turning it by hand. So if we come up here, try and find a good way to hold the camera. Alright, just turning it by hand. Well, you can actually see the propeller spinning down in the hole. All the sprockets up here working in unison. Looking good. And there's where the chain wants to derail on the other sprocket. So, alright, so that pretty much covers all the mock-up. Right, so I've got the mechanical all finished. It took me a few days of tweaking. I had to change a few things, but I have it all running smooth, perfect. The chains are staying on the sprockets. Whipping the pedals pretty quick, you know, to make sure that the chains aren't coming off, and I'm pretty stoked because now I'm moving on to the next step to put in the back seat and fiberglass the boat. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you more. Alright, so here we go. We've got our pedals here and our front derailleur, which comes back to our rear sprocket and our rear derailleur for changing gears. Now mind you, I can only change 3 gears in the back, but I also have the 3 gears in the front, so that's okay. And then it comes down to a smaller sprocket here, and you may notice that this is a bit of a different hub here for the sprocket, thanks to NOS Bicycles. The owner really hooked me up there. The original sprocket the hub that I had here, it wasn't running true, so it had a bit of a wobble to it, so the chain kept derailing. So he gave me a good price on the hub, and also gave me some extra parts at no charge. So shout out to him. And if you're local to my area, if you need any bike repairs, I would highly recommend going see NOS Bike. Alright, and you can see I've got my chair in place. And back here, I've got 2 tensioners. I've got one up here, and I had to add another one down here, just that where there's no tension on the chain here, it had quite the wobble back and forth, so I just threw another tensioner on there, and it seems to have just buckled off. I may actually put a cap on it like I did here. And then we come down the chain. I've got another tensioner and another cap. My right angle gearing, which then, as you can see here, comes to here, comes up to this top sprocket. I originally had this as one chain, going from the right angle gearing up to the top sprocket over to the other sprocket, but what ended up happening, I didn't have enough teeth grabbing on the chain on this one, so it was actually skipping. So that's why I ended up going with just a single chain from up to here. And then I have a chain going across over to the other sprocket, and then you can see my chains all go through the floor to my propellers. Alright, so I got my son Hunter in the boat. Say hi, Hunter.
Hi.
Alright, go ahead and pedal, bud. Okay, so we can see the pedals are going. Keep going. Come back. Back to the propellers. Alright, so you can see the mechanical all works, the propellers move, all the chains stay on. So now the next step is to put in the back seat and to fill in that engine compartment, and then I'm ready for fiberglass. So stay tuned to the next video. I'll show you how I've put the seat together and fill it all in, and then we'll get a couple of videos on doing fiberglass. So, thanks for watching.